On this episode of the Infowars News Blitz, Islamic State claims responsibility in Paris attack. French foreign policy is responsible for Paris attack, and Jennifer Lawrence attacks Christians. That and a lot more, so stay tuned. For the week of November the 23rd, 2015, this is the first article of the day here, and also basically I'm going to read from here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, basically this is an article written by the LA Times. It was also been covered by Infowars.com. The first article about Infowars says Paris attack, Islamic State claims responsibility. The other one, which has been updated about almost like a bazillion times, is called As Paris Reels, Investigators Piece Together the Attackers' Stories. It was written by a whole bunch of people from John Magezzo to Michael Finnegan. The article goes on to say that at 8:20 Friday, an explosion cracked through the director's diner of a soccer game at the Stade de France. Outside, a terrorist with a suicide belt filled with shrapnel lay dead on the mortally wounded. Passersby sent near him became the first victim of a coordinated act of terrorism that would be the deadliest in Europe in over a decade. 5 minutes later, a black seated compact car motored up to Rue Abreu in a vintage neighborhood in the 10th arrondissement. Well, I'm trying to pronounce it here. And assassinates like King's figure 5 Kalashnikov fired into a bar and basically, sorry folks, opened fire on a bar and sidewalk, killing 15 people before speeding off into the night. 2 more cars blew themselves out in the stadium, and the gunmen in a black car continued their gruesome reign above the city. The article goes on to say that the French newspaper Le Monde reported that the terrorists came from Brussels, the suburbs of Molenbeek, and basically here's a clip of that.
Well, yeah, obviously, as Big said, today we visited Molenbeek, which is known as the jihadist capital of Europe. It's one of these Muslim no-go ghettos that the left pretends doesn't exist. Remember, Steve Emerson went on Fox News after Charlie Hebdo and blamed some of these radicalized no-go Muslim ghettos for recruiting some of the attackers involved in that incident. The left laughed him off. The mayor of Paris tried to sue Fox News for those comments, and they basically for the next 10 months pretended that these areas don't exist. They do exist. We've just been in one. And again, they've earned the reputation for being a no-go zone, because as Big said, we were flipped the bird, screamed at by these young Muslims in this car. They followed us. Then we went to try and get something in a bar kind of restaurant place. And from what I could tell, the guy was talking French. He was basically saying white people aren't allowed in restaurants in this area. So our white privilege didn't count for much. But I'm racist for criticizing the religion of Islam. But they've got segregation in these Muslim no-go ghettos. So yes, they do exist. We've been in one. And as Big said, this was where the guy, the 8th attacker, who is still on the loose in Belgium, they haven't caught him, he was picked up at around 5 a.m., just a couple of blocks away from the theatre siege, driven all the way back from Paris to Brussels to this very area where this raid occurred. There are no police there whatsoever. We didn't see one police officer. Maybe there was a van driving through once. Other than that, absolutely nothing.
Okay, thank you. Basically, the French prosecutors said that 3 teams of terrorists carrying AK-47s and assault rifles and wearing explosive vests with identical detonators appeared to have carried out the attacks. The bomber killed several people, but only one bystander. The guns, on the other hand, wreaked carnage throughout the city of Light. Basically, this is something And this is all because of what's happening with Paris. There's so many, quote-unquote, Muslims in here. So, basically, I will cover this more in the later report that I have. Alright? See you there. And if anybody's wondering why I didn't actually move down in the article, it was because basically I was reading this from a printout I printed out. So basically, it's all good. But enough about that. Here's an article written by Kirk Nemo. The title is called French Foreign Policy Responsible for Paris Attacks. Underneath it says, French people oppose holiday military intervention in Syria. Yeah, sure, they praise these little bastards anyway. The decision by France to conduct an airstrike on Syria's oil infrastructure last Sunday and previous strikes on ISIS positions on a training camp in eastern Syria in late September contributed to the attacks on innocent pedestrians on Friday. The Islamic State has warned France not to participate in the U.S.-led attacks against ISIS in Syria. In February, the group released a video featuring two French-speaking terrorists wearing ISIS elements in the country awaiting instructions for attacks. The 9-minute video surfaced a month after the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Islamic State fighters are deploying everywhere and your nightmare begins. Now, along with the real war. The Walla News site quoted the video as stating. Underneath, it goes on to say, as the bombs dropped, the government played a political transitional in Syria. In other words, forcing Bashar al-Assad from power and ushering in the rule of the Islamists who want to turn the country into a Wahhabist principality ruled by Sharia law. In the days ahead, urgent calls for a no-fly zone in Syria has been renewed. Secretary of State John Kerry revisited the idea in mid-October, and presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and a number of Republican contenders have now called for one to be established. I mean, basically, first of all, France let all these Wahhabist people in here, and also France, the UK, the United States, and so many other people, so many other countries, are basically funding ISIS, which is still Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra, and basically, to be honest with you, they're just basically letting them run wild crazy to take everybody's freedom and liberties. And notice that these places that these guys attacked were also gun-free zones. If it wasn't a gun-free zone, everybody one of the Muslim bastards would be shot dead. Plain and simple. But no, they're gonna use this stuff to take our liberties and blame it on the liberty movement. That's how it's going to do. And that's how it's gonna happen. I mean, they're gonna keep going until we're all dead and basically, enslaved. But anyway, and wearing buckles on our hands. But anyway, here's some Jennifer Lawrence news for the last article of the day here. It's an article written by CNET News. It was linked to by the Infowars.com feed. The article goes, Jennifer Lawrence attacks Christians. People holding their crucifix, which may be as well be pitchforks. This is written by Mark Drudge. Wait, Mark? Matt? Drudge? I don't know. These guys could be brothers, so who gives a crap? But anyway, actress, Jennifer Lawrence, and star of the Hunger Games, and the highest paid actress in the world, has harshly criticized Christians. Well, that's something. We're being criticized 24/7 every day. In an interview for the December edition of Vogue, the subject of Kim Davis came up. Davis is the Kentucky County clerk who was sent to jail for refusing to sign wedding licenses for gay couples. Lawrence's reaction is described by Vogue writer Jonathan Van Meter. The day I am at Jennifer's house also happens to be the day after the infamous county clerk Kim Davis gets out of jail when she had been sent for defying a court order to requiring her to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Lawrence brings it up, calling her that lady who makes me embarrassed to be from Kentucky. Well, you embarrass yourself anyway. Yourself. Lawrence, give me. Kim Davis, don't even say her name in this house. She shoots back and goes into a rant about how those people holding her crucifix may as well be pitchforks, thinking they are fighting for good. I grew up in Kentucky. I know how they are. Well, if you're acting like a complete moron 24/7, you probably wouldn't know. They probably wouldn't want you acting like this anyway. But the article goes on to say that she said that it's not that big of a stretch to imagine her becoming a modern-day John Flora, whom she deeply admires. Seriously, she admires this. I don't know who this woman is, but I might have to look this girl up. But be honest with you, either this girl's been told by the CIA to sell this stuff, 2, she's completely sold out, or 3, she's just a complete airhead. Must be the 2. Must be 2 and 3. Because basically, that's kind of hard for me to believe. I just wanted to meet this girl too. But anyway, you know what? I'm about to come on and say it now. Infowars is on a hiatus. That's right, a hiatus. And when I'm done with this hiatus, I'm gonna take a look at these so-called photos. I've already downloaded 2 of the 3 zip files, and I'm gonna download the final one coming up later in December. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna I'm also gonna upload it to a social networking adult site that I've joined, so they may enjoy her airheadedness as well. Also, along with the videos. So yeah, trust me, it's gonna be wild, man. But to be honest with you folks, this is it just goes to show her that her political stance is pretty crazy. I mean, I read all the comments at the bottom of the from the Infowars comments, and also the quote unquote, also from here a little bit, and people are calling her a complete airhead and her political stance that nobody wants to listen to. I mean, basically she came out and said basically, I can't remember what it was, but I can't remember what you said, but to be honest with you, Miss Lawrence, if you understood why this woman didn't do it, it was because basically, and I'm quoting Pastor Chuck Baldwin, he said that basically, after the court struck down, said that basically marriages is all for the state, is open all around, all that power, the power that they had at the federal level, reverted back to the states. And I know I read an article about it too. And basically, what she did was basically saying, you know what, I'm not giving any marriage licenses. They're refusing to give marriage licenses to gays. It's just that simple. But she took it a step further. So basically, I'm kind of happy that she got out just for it. And I warn you, Miss Lawrence, you might want to be careful what you say next, cause technically, nobody ain't gonna listen to you. Okay? I just want to bring that up. All right? So, yeah, whatever. Well, that's all the articles I have for you today. If you'd like to read more about the articles, please go to the links below, or go to Infowars.com, or PlayThePlanet.com. There you can find hundreds of articles just like this one I have read for you today. This is Infowars News Blitz. I'm Info Gundam, Life of Funerary, number 3. Please like, subscribe, and donate. And I would like to wish everybody in the United States a happy and very safe Thanksgiving. Please be safe. Try not to eat too much turkey. Okay? Bye-bye.